Holy cow. A couple things before I get into the topic of this video. I think I made the right call not doing a top 25 list of Dale Earnhardt. I didn't fill it with that video and I didn't think many people actually cared. So I was right. And it's gotten less than 10 views. So, you know what? Be that as it may, I'll keep that video on there if you want to watch it. That's my tribute without a top 25 list. I am working on a very extensive list that, I don't know, I think it could get some views. We'll see. Sunday, I'm ready for part one of it's going to be a 3-part series of the top 60 Super Bowls of all time. It's something I wanted to do after the 60th Super Bowl. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down. That way it's not an incredibly long video. Is I'm going to do 60 through 41, and then I'll do 40 through 21, and then I'll do the rest. So expect that Sunday. Expect part one of that Sunday. That's almost guaranteed because I've been wanting to do that for an incredibly long time. And I shot a video, but I thought it was a little bit too racist even for my taste. So I didn't upload it, and I'm not really going to talk much about it. And that's the Reverend Jesse Jackson. He died. I don't really have much to say about it. So be that as it may, we're going to move on from that. I'm not going to discuss it. But now for the topic of the video, and just a cow. I don't know if you want to be on this video or not because it's wrestling related. Do you want to stay on the video and just listen? Okay. All right, just a cow. I know you're not a wrestling fan. Okay, so as we all know, real life events can happen. They can happen. And sometimes I think that WWE storyline writers, even people in charge of WWE, tend to have horse blinders over their eyes because they don't really pay attention to real life events. I remember when a storyline that was dropped, Muhammad Hassan, 2005, with The Undertaker, they had real life events of a bombing. So that storyline was pretty much dropped pretty quickly because of real life events. And I get it, the show must go on, but I sometimes wonder if they're even paying attention to what's happening in real life. Okay, so for about, I don't know, they seem to be milking this way too much. For about 3 or 4 months, they've had this masked man, which is more than likely it's going to be Seth frickin' Rollins. They've had this masked man, appearing randomly. He's in a black hoodie, and so he's been appearing and he's been attacking wrestlers at random, and who he attacks, it just doesn't make a lot of sense who he's attacking. So no question, it's Seth frickin' Rollins. So he's been doing this for about 3 or 4 months. So be it. I get it. It's a storyline. But I'm thinking, and I'll get into the reason why, I think maybe they should go away from it and drop the storyline and never mention it again. And I'll tell you why. Because of real life events that are occurring right now as we speak. In Arizona, Nancy Guthrie, she was kidnapped and she's probably dead as it is. I hope I got her name right. If I didn't, I apologize. So, the masked man, that's why I brought up WWE in this, because real life events. So, a masked man, was wearing a black mask, just like WWE, and it could be copied from WWE, but be that as it may. And so, masked man entered the home with maybe a failed robbery attempt, and she was kidnapped and probably murdered. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to, make assumptions with it. So that's going on, real life events, while WWE is still going forward with this masked man who is its storyline. Now, I really think that WWE is in poor taste here. They're in poor taste, and they're letting the storyline continue, which I think is a bad judgment call. It's a very bad judgment call. WWE has had some bad judgment calls in the past. Let me tell you, there's been a lot of them where they've made some bad judgment calls, like Owen Hart tragically dying and then going ahead with the pay-per-view when the pay-per-view should have been canceled. Just give people their money back and just cancel it for about a week. But I get it, show goes on. So be it. But I think this is a poor taste. This is really poor taste because they should respect the family. I know the family probably doesn't even watch WWE, but be that as it may, they really should respect the family and drop the storyline permanently. Yeah, permanently. Drop it, because at this point, is it really going anywhere? No, it's really not. And we still have a masked man appearing on WWE programming when we have real life events that have happened with a masked man, same color of the mask and everything. So if you're going to continue with the storyline, this is just a thought process of mine. If you're going to continue with the storyline in WWE, make the mask a different color. That's not really hard to do. They have different colors. They have blue masks, they have gray masks, they have green. So that's really not hard to do. Just change the color of the mask. But why are they continuing with this? Because clearly this storyline is a dud. It's clearly a dud storyline, and they will not drop the storyline for no reason whatsoever because, as my wife said, they're only in it to make money. But how is this going to make any money? I don't see how a masked man going around different Raws and different SmackDowns. I don't know if he's appeared on SmackDown or not, but anyway. So he's appeared even on pay-per-views and doing random attacks, and I'm like, just drop it. Just drop the storyline and just it's not a stretch for WWE. I've seen them do storylines for a few months and then they drop it and nothing is ever brought up of it again. Just be respectful. Drop the damn storyline. Drop it because it's disrespectful. I really believe that. It's very disrespectful to what's going on in real life events.
Me and Mom are saying that's all for now.
That's all for now.